Hey everybody, this is Felicia with The Book is Done. Please, please, please forgive me for my voice. Excuse me. Yes, I am sick. I found out yesterday that I have strep, and then my son has COVID. So it has been a wonderful 24 hours, and I say that sarcastically. However, I had to come on sick and all. I haven't been on in a while, so please, please, please forgive me. Been sick literally for the last month. This is the second time that I've had strep in the last month. I literally had strep like 2 weeks ago. But in all things, I had to come on to talk about this book that I just read. Now, I cannot remember if I read anything by this author. However, when I tell you I'm a fan, I'm a fan. I just finished the book. I'm going to come on later to talk about the other books that I've read. I've been reading a lot of digital arcs, and so I don't have like the physical copies on me. Y'all know that I put the physicals on here. But this book right here, Promise Me by Richard Paul Evans. Listen, I get that this book came out a long time ago, right? I think this book came out, let me see, I'm looking, came out in 2010. Super late to the party, whatever, whatever. But in all things, I was dealing with kind of like a book hangover, because I read mystery books. And so um, I was just looking, I was like, man, what can I read? What can I read? And if it were up to me, I would celebrate the holidays all year round. Like legit from October to December, just the fall, the kindness that everybody has, just the I don't know, everything is just lighter. Everybody's just nicer. I wish that was all year round. Literally all year round. And so I was like, yes, it's a Christmas book, but whatever. Like, let's go. So I read this book. Yo, I could not put this book down. I would have finished the book days ago if I didn't feel so icky. But this book right here, baby, listen, it's called Promise Me. And basically, what it's talking about is that there's this woman her name is Beth, or Bethany. Beth, she's getting ready for this Christmas party, and it's her daughter, her her daughter's husband, her friend, her friend's husband, and her husband. They're just gonna have like a little small get together at their house. But she's talking about how tonight, I think this was like either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, and it's talking about how it's the biggest day that she's been looking forward to for the last 18 years. And so she's basically going back in time, and she says that it's only three men that she's loved in her life: her first husband, somebody else that we were getting ready to talk about, and her current husband, Kevin. First husband name was Mark. The other person's name was Matthew, number two. Number three is her current husband, Kevin. So we go back in time, and it takes us back to time where it's like her first marriage. I want to say that it's like she only has one child. Her child's name is Charlotte. And so it's talking about, it starts how it's going like the day to day. She works at a dry cleaning business, just as like something on the side. Her husband Mark, I forgot what, I think he's a financial advisor. I forgot what he is. I'm sorry. Real estate, I believe. And so and their daughter is like 6 years old. So it's just talking about the day to day life. And then it was like all of a sudden their daughter, she gets sick, and they don't know what's wrong with her. And so no, I'm sorry, Mark is a salesman, her first husband. So he's a salesman. So he's doing all of this traveling. And so he comes home after being gone for like weeks on end, and like Charlotte is sick. Bethany gets a call, and she's like, okay, Charlotte is sick. And so they can't find out what's wrong with her. Like she's losing weight, and she talks about her stomach hurts, and so she's constantly in all this pain. So Mark is there. Mark is trying to be as supportive as he can, and he goes to the dry clean. She's like, can you watch her while I go to work, because I need to work. And so he's like, yeah. He was like, if you don't mind, can you take these clothes to the dryer for me? Because I think this is like on a Thursday or Friday. He was like, I have to leave back out on Tuesday to be gone for like 3 weeks. She was like, no problem. I had a feeling, right? Had a feeling something. This is like within the first 20, 30 pages. So I'm like, I don't know why I feel like she finna find something in his pockets, right? So this is not a murder book or mystery thriller book. I want to say this is like, it's a feel. I'm gonna call it a feel good book. So it's I just had a sneaking suspicion that something was gonna be found in his pockets, and I was gonna get mad. So lo and behold, her friend Roxanne, they're like best friends. I want to say she owns or is like co-owner of the dry cleaning business, and so they're super super close. And she comes up to Beth, and it's just like, I don't even know how to break this to you, but I found this in Mark's pockets. It was some letter that some little hussy, because I'm not a fan of those who cheat. Not. And so it was a little letter from this little girl that was sent to, or like placed in his pocket, and it had a little lipstick on it. Now mind you, we went back in time. So we went back, I want to say this is 1989 that we went back to. So Roxanne is all upset. Beth is all upset. She about to go and put hands on old boy. And so she goes, she's like, Roxanne, can you watch me? Cool. So Beth goes to the house and she confronts him. She did what I would do. Listen, we gonna hit this face to face, like, what's up? What's going on? So she goes to Mark, and he was like, she means nothing. Bro, how long has this been going on? 6 months. She means nothing, but it's been 6 months. What? Explain it. Get out. Get out. That's exactly what she did, long story short. So she kicks him out or whatever, and then Charlotte is still sick. And so, she was like, I don't want to see you. I have a sick daughter to take care of. I can't be, but get out. Get out. Leave now. Get out. And so she was better than me, honey, because I would tore the house up. House didn't do anything, but I would tore the house up. Flipped. I would have put hands on him. But in all things, he leaves, and then it's like she goes, she's crying, she's upset. And then I want to say this is before or after she takes Charlotte to the hospital. But in all things, Beth goes to 7-Eleven and she meets this man. And man's name is Matthew. And he was just like, they headbutt each other. Like, I think she was picking up something, he was picking up something, they headbutt. So he was just like, hi. And she was like, hi. Like, she is not even phased, not swayed, like, get out my face, I gotta go. So he was just like, he's like really super sweet to her, and she's just like, if you don't get out my face, I'm gonna put hands on you. So in all things, she rushes out and he leaves, and it's by happenstance that they see each other again. And he says something to her. He called her Bethany. Nobody calls her Bethany. And she was like, no one's called me that except my mom. And she died like almost 20 years ago. And so he was just like, I don't know. And it's, I'm not going to give any more into it. But long story short, Matthew is the mystery person, or the second person. And they start talking. He's like, just give me a chance. She was like, if you don't get out my face, it's about to pop off. Like, it's about to pop off. I don't like you. I don't want to know you. I've been hurt. I can't deal with this right now. So, um, to tie over the first to the second, March, she comes home one day, and she invites Mark back after a few weeks or whatnot. And, he, they couldn't find him. She couldn't find him. And so she's just freaking out. Job hasn't heard from him. Woo. And so he comes in the house. He's just drunk, drunk as a skunk, y'all. Like, he is out of control drunk. And so she's like, where have you been? And he was like, don't worry about me. I won't be home much longer. And he's drunk, but that's what he says. And she was like, what are you talking about? And this is after she invited him back in. They're trying to work on things. And he was like, I have pancreatic cancer. I only have but a little bit to live. So it's just best that I leave. And she was like, wait. What are you talking about? Like, what are you saying to me? And what about Charlotte? Like, you just can't up and leave, like, because he was getting ready to leave. And she was like, no, you need to stay here. I forgive you for what you've done, for that one infidelity. And he was like, I have something else to tell you. And she was just like, what? And he was like, she wasn't the only one. And she was like, wait, what? And he was like, it was about 11 others. And she was just like, Okay. My life would have flashed before my eyes, y'all, because, or his life would have flashed before his eyes, because if he wouldn't have told me all of that in one whop, baby. But in the story, she was just like, you know what? In spite of everything, we're just gonna go on, make this every day the best day. So it was like a few weeks. I don't even think it was a month or two after that he passed away. Mark passed away. So enters in Matthew, and not that it was a coincidence as to how that happened, but as you read the story more and more, then it all comes together. Beth, I mean, just like any person that's been cheated on, by someone that you love, you feel hurt, you feel betrayed, you don't have no trust. Everybody's a dog. Um, Men and women, everybody's a dog. He taught her how to love again and all this good jazz. And so, once you continue to read the story, it's nothing but feel goods. And it's not like your traditional Christmassy movie, or Christmassy book, rather. It does give you the feel of like Hallmark type Christmas movies, but the only reason why Christmas is involved in it is because, it happens around Christmas time or on Christmas. Other than that, I mean, they're going throughout the year, and I think all of this happened in one year, with Matthew. And so, in all things, I am definitely a Richard Paul Evans fan after this, because my thing is, I don't mind the romance, but I don't need all that lovey stuff. I don't need details. What do they call it? Smut. Listen, that's a cuss word to me. Like, I don't cuss, so I don't like the word smut. It just sounds nasty. Like, I don't like it. But this, it literally promised me it's like a feel good. It reminds you of like Mitch Albom, the one who said, five strangers you'll meet before you die, or five strangers you'll meet in heaven, or something like that. Excuse me. He gives good, feel good movies or books too. I can't talk, y'all, forgive me. But in all things, Promise Me by Richard Paul Evans. Listen. If I'm ever in a funk and I need something to get me out, that's it. I got another book of his over there on my to be read book list shelf. Is the Noel Letters by Richard Paul Evans. So I don't know if I'm gonna start that tonight or not, but it's definitely worth it. So if y'all have not read anything by him, definitely check that out. First one. Let me know what your thoughts are, if there are any. I'm sure he's written so many other books. On the cover of this one, it says The Christmas Wish and The Walk that he's written. And so, I only have two books of his, and so we shall see. But if y'all have any feedback, let me know, because it almost made my eyes sweat a little bit, but it was so good. It was, I couldn't wait to get back to the book. So in all things, I hope that y'all are having a wonderful, wonderful day so far. And I will be coming on. Forgive me for not, I don't even think I came on for the month of July. And I've been reading books. I just finished two books the other day. And I just haven't been able to talk about it. I'm looking at two books on a bookshelf, my other bookshelf that I haven't talked about. That is another series that I've gotten into, and I love it. But I hope that y'all have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. This is Felicia with The Book Is Done, and I'm out.